This is a really good Pokemon Red Blue AI video. They scientifically ranked the trainers in Pokemon Red and Blue.
Pokemon Red are so weak that they can be easily bested by a 7-year-old, or an army of Twitch users. But maybe it's unfair to judge them by human standards. What would happen if we were to pit all the AI trainers in Pokemon Red against each other in a giant tournament?
Wouldn't Gary just win? He's the strongest lineup by far. I mean, the fucking youngster Joey, who I like pants, let's fight, is not gonna, he's got a Rattata. Doesn't matter if his AI is goated, dude. He can't.
First, let's talk briefly about how the AI in the Gen 1 Pokemon game
Skip. I'll listen to him.
actually works. There are 391 trainers coded in the game, and they all follow the same basic AI. Each turn, they start by picking a move. Each of the up to 4 moves they can choose from starts with a priority value of
random?
10. The lower the number, the higher the priority. Then, based on the trainer's class, up to 3 modifications are applied to these priority values. The first modification strongly deprioritizes moves that only inflict a status ailment if the opposing Pokemon already has a status.
Okay.
The second modification slightly prioritizes moves that have certain effects, such as healing or raising stats. This modification is supposed to apply only on the second turn a Pokemon is out, but, well, we'll get back to that. The third and final modification slightly prioritizes moves that are super effective. This calculation is a bit primitive. It doesn't care whether the move actually does damage, and it doesn't bother checking both types of a dual-type Pokemon. This leads to interesting quirks, like the trainers in Celadon Gym that won't try to hurt you if you come at them with the Bulbasaur, because they just spam poison. Third, a handful of trainers have additional AI routines that allow them to perform actions like using items, and they usually follow logic like, if health is below 1/5, then with 50% probability, use a super potion. Otherwise, use the selected move.
Okay.
So then, we know how the AI works, but how are we going to pit them against each other?
So just based on that, trainers have infinite potions then? It's just that it just stops using them? Wow. When I was a kid, I tried to like burn them out. I think I would write it down in my notebook. Like Agatha has 3 potions.
We have 2 emulators that are kept in sync, but mirrored from
High
one
effort
another.
content.
So, say we're pitting Blaine
When you're hot,
against Misty.
Misty.
On one emulator,
Sorry, what? Misty's not a Pokemon. You had Blaine say a catchphrase, and you had Misty just say Misty twice like it's a fucking Pikachu. What the hell was that?
we'll set up a save state where the opposing trainer is Misty, and the player has a party identical to Blaine's. Whenever the player needs to make a choice, we take a save state, swap the data for the player and the enemy, then load that save state in the second emulator. Then, it's a simple matter
Interesting.
of pressing the right buttons in the original game to perform that action. In total, I ran over 87,000 battles and collected statistics about each trainer's performance. The most basic statistic is the win-loss draw ratio. You might be wondering how draws can happen in
He
non-competitive
made
Pokemon.
ELO ranking.
Even if both Pokemon faint at the same time, the game will still declare a winner. Well, because the AI is so primitive and is unhindered by PP constraints, there are lots of scenarios where 2 AI trainers will get themselves locked in an endless battle. Because of this, I instituted 2 draw scenarios. The 75 turn rule, inspired by the similar rule in chess, counts the battle as a draw if 75 turns go by without either side taking damage. The 1,000 turn rule counts the battle as a draw if 1,000 turns go by without either side winning. The second statistic I calculated is an ELO score. Of course, kids these days don't care about stinky math and numbers. They like tier lists. So I also categorized each trainer into a tier from F to S.
Smart.
So, without further ado, let's start the ranking. In very last place, squarely in F tier, we have the first rival battle against Squirtle. With the team consisting of a single level 5 Pokemon, it's not surprising that the rival finds himself in last place.
Sag.
D tier is pretty big compared to the first 2, and is home to a number of unremarkable trainers.
Youngster
However,
Joey!
it is also home to the biggest upset victory in the game. Rocker number 2, with an ELO of just 707, managed to beat the B+ tier swimmer number 13 with an ELO of 1867.
Upset of the year. Oh, you can't see his ALO, dude. He's got a 707 out of nowhere. This fucking miracle rocker brought his Volt. That's because it's a Voltorb or Electro versus Starmie, dude. Yeah, he used Thunderbolt. Wow, fucking crazy.
Obviously, he just overwhelmed the poor swimmer with a torrent of super effective electric type Oh, that does
No, he just
technically count
self-destructed.
as a loss for the player trainer. Well done, Rocker number 2. D tier is also home to the first gym leader, Pewter City's own Brock.
Damn, Brock, you're a gym leader. You're one of like the 8 highest paid trainers in the whole country, and you're in D tier. How the fuck can you become a gym leader with a level 12 Geodude and a level 14 Onyx? That's crazy. That means like an average fucking child from a different city could walk over to your town and beat the shit out of you and take leadership of your town. Gym leaders canonically have different levels of Pokemon for each opponent. Then canonically, the smart thing to do is pretend to have dog shit Pokemon. There's a database? Okay, then I'll wear a mustache. And I'll say I'm a different dude. Well, are they fucking chipping me? Are they fucking Bill Gates microchip vaccining me? How are they gonna know? It's honor system, dude. It's exploitable is what the problem. They sell your data at Pokemon centers. That's how they make a profit.
It's curious to see that she's so much higher in the ranking than Brock, and substantially higher.
Wait, Missy's way higher. Missy's insanely farther along than Brock. She's B- versus D.
Around the middle of B- tier, we find Beauty number 10, who is notable for partaking in the longest battle I caught on video, one of only 4 battles in the entire tournament to end in a draw by the 1,000-turn limit. Her opponent was last number 5, with her level 29 Bulbasaur and Ivysaur. You'd think the Beauty would be sure to win, but alas, Oddish is grass poison type, so the Beauty just spends the entire battle trying to use poison powder on it to no avail. Meanwhile, the Oddish is spamming Absorb, which seems to be missing pretty often.
Imagine that in the real world of Pokemon. Just dozens of hours of 2 women screaming, Ivysaur, use poison powder! Oddish, don't take that, use Absorb! Back and forth for 12 fucking hours.
It's not missing, but instead dealing 0 damage, which the Gen 1 games register as a miss. With neither side doing any damage, the battle would normally end by the 75-turn rule, but once in a while, Oddish is able to pull off a critical hit, dealing 1 damage at a time to Ivysaur and resetting the 75-turn counter. This battle went on for an hour and 20 minutes before being cut short by the 1,000-turn rule. My condolences to the lass. She surely would have won if it weren't for that.
Giovanni's only B? Cringe.
Speaking of Erica, here she is now. A- is a pretty respectable...
A- is great. I don't know if I've probably mentioned this a couple of times, but when I was a kid, my parents wouldn't buy me Pokemon Red, so I traded my Pokemon cards. I traded a shiny holo foil Nidoking and a couple other cards for a copy of Pokemon Red on the bus. And the kid that traded to me was a bully, and the game copy was broken. The only reason I got that great deal was because the game was broken and had no battery in it, so you couldn't save. It was an unsavable copy. So what I would do is after school every single day, I would put 2 AA batteries into my fucking thick-ass Game Boy Color, and I would play Pokemon Red for about 4.5 hours until the batteries died, and then I would start over. I only played the beginning of the game every single day. That is how I played Pokemon Red for fucking like a year until I was able to get a real copy. And so and I got pretty good, I guess, at speedrunning it, at whatever you could do as a 7, 8-year-old. Because I wanted to see more of the world. So I would always get to around Erica. That's about as far as you could get if you really grinded before your batteries would die. I mean, for me. But like anytime I would get farther than that, or I would get lucky or just have a good run, I would feel so excited to see more of Pokemon because I would always be seeing the same shit every day. Okay, that's crazy. Lorelei with fucking 5 level 50 plus Pokemon is ranked below this gentleman with 1 Primeape. This old dude with 1 monkey is ranked higher than fucking 5 Pokemon higher level.
Spams rest for the entire battle. This strategy naturally leads to Lorelei having by far the highest draw count of all trainers. Over 1/3 of all draws in the tournament are attributable to Lorelei. But why does she spam rest so much, at the expense of anything else? Well, remember what I said earlier about the AI prioritizing healing moves on the second turn a Pokemon is in battle? Well, funny story. I realized at the last minute while writing the script that there was actually a bug in my code. It never updates the enemy turn counter. So, presumably, Lorelei is just stuck prioritizing rest for the entire battle, when actually she should only do it for the second turn. Oops. Or so I thought. But no, actually, if you look at the base save state I'm using, the enemy turn counter isn't stuck on turn 2, it's stuck on turn 1. So actually, Lorelei isn't over-prioritizing rest, she's under-prioritizing it. And if you look at the teams she drew against, you can actually see why she used Rest so much. Almost all of them have a fighting or poison type Pokemon, and Rest is a psychic type move. So while my code did have a bug in it, it was really to her benefit. And Lorelai's poor performance in this tournament is entirely on her. Moving on to A tier, we predictably find Koga, followed by Blaine, and the Viridian City Giovanni, mixed in with a scattering of Victory
Giovanni.
Road trainers and Silphco rivals.
Bruno.
Once again, the Venusaur rival maintains its lead. Then, kicking off A+ tier, finally we find Sabrina.
Sabrina was
sitting at
loaded.
a cool 2370 Elo.
Sabrina was a tough cookie. At least playing as a kid.
Rounding out the Elite Four, we find Lance in the number 8 slot. At least the Elite Four has the decency to sort themselves in the proper order. Between him and the champion, though, we find the rival fight from Route...
Wait, what the fuck? Professor Oak? Unused? They had an unused Professor Oak fight in the game? Holy shit. That would have been a cool twist. You get good and then Professor Oak tries to fucking smack that ass down? Oh, he keeps the third starter. Oh, interesting.
Once again, it's the Venusaur rival that pulls ahead of the pack to earn himself a spot in 5th place. In 4th place, with 2516 Elo, it's the Venusaur champion, who in a shocking upset was unable to maintain his otherwise consistent lead in the very end.
Wow, Venusaur
in
chokes.
3rd, with 2527, the Blastoise champion.
That's why Giga Chad's picked Charmander, okay? They play for the long game. They know that Brock is going to be kind of hard. They know that Ember's not going to work on Onyx. But they get past that. They're playing for the long game.
In 2nd place, with an impressive 2534 Elo, it's the Charizard champion. Wait,
Who's
2nd
number 1?
place?
Who's number 1?
Yes, my friends, there is a trainer that beats out even the champion rival, standing alone in S tier
Professor Oak?
with 2559 Elo. The undisputed strongest trainer in all of Pokemon Red is Professor Oak with a Blastoise. Now,
Wow.
I won't blame you if you don't remember the Professor Oak fight in Pokemon Red. It never actually appears in the game, but in the game's data
Oak,
is a
Chad.
full set of rosters for 3 Professor...
Dude, I forgot how fucking intimidating the Blastoise Gen 1 sprite is. Look at this thick fucking lad. Damn, dude.
In
He
each
looks like a
case,
mobster.
using the fully evolved starter left behind by you and your rival. This fight was probably meant to be a post-game true final boss that got cut at some point in development. It's a shame, because the data shows Professor Oak would have been a truly formidable opponent. And that's all I've got for you today.
Yeah, that was actually a fire video. I mean, just a cool idea, cool subject matter, but he really did such a good job.
Check it.